Hey guys, welcome back. So I am trying to get this video out before the sun goes down because I've had a small hiccup in my apartment and we are going to be without power for, I'd say about the next 24 hours, but that's okay. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to, and we can deal with that. So again, just trying to get this video out there before the sun goes down so you can actually see it. So today I was wanting to talk about, actually, you know what, originally I wanted to talk about the words peace and peace. But I think in light of some recent events, both politically and personally, I would like to talk about the word freedom. So in my way of breaking words down and the way I do things, sorry guys, my hair is like, was no shower today. Sorry. The first thing I do, of course, when I think about a word that's as complex as the word freedom, I try to look it up in the dictionary. So I did that, and of course there are 9 definitions to the word. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that was to the second word. We'll get there. 9 definitions to the word freedom. The first of which is the quality or state of being free. I hate when the dictionary does that. It's like answering a question with a question. That is not giving me the information I'm looking for, but okay, I'll give you that. So beyond that, the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in choice of action. From there, we get liberation from slavery or restraint from the power of another, or independence. From there, we get the quality or state of being exempt or released, usually from something onerous. Unrestricted use, ease, facility. The quality of being frank, open, or outspoken. Improper familiarity. That's an interesting one. Boldness of conception or execution. A political right. So, another thing I like to do with these words is break them down, much like I did the word forgive, if you guys saw my first video, and see what other words are contained within the larger word, right? I'm sorry, guys. I'm a hot mess today, but I will not let that deter me from getting these videos out for you guys. So the word freedom, if you break it out into separate words, you've got the word free, the word do, and then there's an M left. If we decided to put an E at the end, we could say free to do me, right? That's kind of how I trick my brain into looking at the word in a different way. So if we were to go down that rabbit hole, we could say free to do me. What does the word free mean? So of course now I have to look that word up. But keep in mind that the original definition was being released or the absence of constraint. Those were the two that stuck with me in that regard. So the word free, not costing or charging anything, having the legal and political rights of a citizen. I'm going to skip over that because, again, I'm not trying to be political here. Enjoying a civil and political liberty. Well, that could take us down a rabbit hole that I just don't choose to go down right now. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday we'll have a guest on the channel with me, and I'm sure you know who you are. my political guest, to speak intelligently to that part of the dynamics of this word. But for today, we're going to keep it at the level of the word free, meaning it doesn't cost anything. So if you put that back into the original word of freedom, so not costing anything, to be released from the constraint and doing me, being free to be me. So when we break that all down, I kind of touched on a bunch of different parts there. I'm going to try to bring it all together for you. So being released from constraints. Okay, so if you picture it, if you had to visualize it in your mind, if you were, say, arrested, they would put you in handcuffs. When they took those handcuffs off, that's the picture I want you to have in your mind, is as the handcuffs coming off. And the handcuffs being a representation of those masks or hats that we're being forced to wear in our life, right? I'll give you an example. When you get married or get your first boyfriend or whatever, you know, you're in a relationship, romantic relationship. We all have a general idea of what that utopian relationship looks like, right? So we want to put on our best face, if you will. For example, I do my best to make sure that my makeup is on, I have jewelry, and my hair is done for these videos. Today, that has not been the case, and that's okay. But at some point, you know, it's impossible to be that perfect all the time. So you get into this relationship, you get married, and now you've got this idea of what the perfect wife is, or husband, as the case may be, and you are in constant I don't know what that word is. Basically, you're striving to be that perfect wife or perfect husband. You are looking for an approval from society, I guess, at large, and validation. You know, a good wife is one who has dinner on the table when her husband comes home from work. So, of course, right away you jump to do that. A good wife is someone who keeps the house clean and the kids quiet and fed and so forth. And a good husband is one who provides and so forth. And all of these utopian ideas of what these roles are that we play, to me, getting us back to the word freedom that started this whole mess, freedom from that constraint. Okay, well, what if I didn't get married? What if I only lived with my partner? Now it's a partner. So that word in and of itself brings on a whole new meaning. That means I don't have to be the only one to clean the house. I don't have to be the only one to give the kids a bath at night. I don't have to be the only one that goes out and earns a living. It's a partnership. It's a very different mindset shift from the word wife or husband. And just by not assigning that role or that word to me as a person has shifted my mind into something completely different. I think labeling is something that we have done far too much of in this lifetime, in this humanity, in this race. And freedom to me is releasing that constraint, right? I'm just able to be me. Am I a wife? No, actually, technically I'm not a wife right now, but do I want to be? Probably not, but that's a whole different show altogether. But I am a mom. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am an aunt. I am a niece. I am a granddaughter. I am a grandmother. All of those words, all of those labels carry with it an idea. And those ideas came from how we were raised, right? What we were taught those things meant. Unfortunately, I grew up without much contact with my grandparents. I had a lot of contact when I was younger, but, you know, between the ages of, 10 and 35, I had no contact with my grandparents. So therefore, I didn't have a general idea of what a grandma should be when I became a grandma. And in some ways, you know, I kind of felt, oh, poor me, you know, I was left out, blah, blah, blah. But it also provided me that freedom to be me, to define that role the way I thought it should be defined without having to compare myself to those that came before me, or to compare myself with my perfect grandma that was everything and, you know, a slice of bread to me. I'm not saying that growing up without that was good, bad, or otherwise. It just was, right? It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It was the circumstances I found myself in. You know, my dad was able to get a job. Unfortunately, it was on the other side of the country. And, you know, when you're first starting out with your family, as such as my parents were, money is not something that you take for granted or that you have a lot of. So flying back and forth across the country was not necessarily an option. And we did. My sister and I were able to fly back and forth across the country for several years, and we were very blessed in that regard. Anyway, regardless, I'm getting off topic. The point being, I had the freedom to define the role any way I saw fit. I actually, oddly, have not looked up the word grandmother. I should probably do that someday, but not today. But I was free to be me. The other ways that we can define freedom are, of course, you know, those people who are incarcerated, their freedom is taken away. They no longer have the right to choose what time they eat, what time they go to bed, what time they wake up, where they're going to sleep. They, you know, from what I understand lately, with COVID and with the lack of personnel in the incarceration facilities, it is next to impossible to afford the time for those inmates to get much time out of themselves. So they have a very limited amount of time in which to interact with other people. So a lot of freedom is taken away for that. And today, you know, when I ran into this electricity snag, I could have gotten very upset, and I could have been very vindictive, and I could have taken a lot of my anger out on the customer service people who were doing their best to just help me at that point. There is one thing that the customer service agent said, you know, when I explained that I do have pets and so forth in the house, and it was going to be a challenge for me to not have electricity. She said, "Oh, I understand." And my gut response, and I wish I could go back and take it back, but it just spilled out of my mouth, was, "No, actually, you don't." I don't know if she did or not. I was just frustrated, and I wanted what I wanted. And you know, I did actually apologize to her and thanked her for her time and for her efforts to get it done as quickly as possible. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that because I actually was a customer service agent for several months for a company. And I can tell you that the words "I understand" are something that they tell you to use. And as a customer, it's about the worst thing you can say to a person, because in their mind, there's no way you can understand it. So anyway, again, I digress. But freedom. I had the freedom to make the choice to be angry. I had the freedom to make the choice to take it out on a person who really is not at fault for my situation. Every situation that we find ourselves in is a result of the choices that we've made up till now. I have to look at myself and say, what free will choice, if you will, brought me here? And what knowledge am I gaining, and what lessons can I learn, and what can I take from that to not find myself in this situation again? Okay, so we go down that road. But again, it's free will. It's freedom to choose. The problem with freedom is it comes with a price, right? It is not something that is given freely. God actually gave us our free will freely, but you know what he did in his mighty wisdom is, in our world of duality, we are free to make whatever choice we want to make. What we are not free from is the consequences of those choices. So, as free as we are, and the freedoms that we have a price to pay for that freedom. If it's a price for that choice that we don't want to pay, then we don't make that choice. And again, we have the freedom to choose that. We are free to be ourselves. We are free to do what makes us happy. We are free to decide if the price is too high or is, you know, basically affordable for what it is that we want to do. So ask yourself, guys, have you given yourself the freedom to be yourself? Are you free to be you? Are you free to say the things that you want to say, you know, providing you're coming from a place of love? You know, I don't subscribe to the theory that just because I'm free to be me doesn't mean I have to be a bitch all the time. Does it mean that I'm never going to be one? Probably not. Probably not. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was, yeah, I can be quite the bitch. And you know what? There's times you just want to be, right? You just want to be mad for whatever reason, and you want to be right, and you want to have your tantrum, and you want to be a 2-year-old. And you know what? You're free to do that. But you're not free from the consequences of doing that. So, is freedom really free? I think not. But you're free to make the choice. So, I challenge you to think about that. And if you guys have any other thoughts on the word or any other ways that you dissect it for yourself, then definitely let me know in the comments below. Other than that, at this point, it's about 900 degrees in my apartment with no air conditioning. So I'm headed outside with the puppies to just enjoy the rest of this beautiful day and get some grounding in, and enjoy the fact that because I have no electricity, I'm being forced to go outside, and I'm going to make the choice to do me and make the best of this challenging situation. With that, guys, I will leave you until next time. In the meantime, grow your words and taste your language. We'll talk soon.